Dear Journal, today I blew up a courthouse.
Knees in court. Judge Roger Klotz.
Order in the court. Oh, look who's in front of me. Funny, you loser. I knew I was going to see you in here one day. You bum. 500, no, 1,000 years in jail. Guilty. It's written all over your face. It's even spelled wrong. Oh, no.
How would Ren and Stimpy, there it is, yeah. I figure that makes sense. I'm like, so how would Ren and Stimpy if they was of now?
Well, they're of any time, you know?
Well,
because they never grow up.
Hey, Ren, will you button me? Again? I buttoned you 25 years ago. You fool.
There we go. My name is Jeremy Gettner. I'm with the Front Row Network with NPR Illinois. But of course you all came to see me, right? No, you didn't come to see me. We are going to be talking to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Billy West. Who's excited to get to see Billy West out here, huh? Woo! We're going to have a really fun conversation. And plus, you see these microphones at the bottom here. There will be time for Q&A directly from you guys. So after, I don't know, like 20 minutes or so, if you want to start lining up, Billy will be answering some of your questions, all right? What do you say we get Billy out here, huh? One more round of applause. Come on, Billy West! Come on!
Billy! Woo! What's up?
You may find yourself in St. Louis, unable to go out at night. When do the armored cars close for the night?
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to get a pizza, and they said,
no. You know, we did go to a very good Mexican place down on the landing, Mas Tequila, I believe it was called last night. So there, good, lots of tequila, but some very good Mexican food as well.
Well, do I have an entourage?
Yeah, I mean, we can be your entourage. All of us, you have an entourage right here. Look at everyone.
What am I watching? I'm watching TV.
I know,
here.
we're watching
distracted.
Jurassic World right here. This is fun. Jurassic
It's a
World.
dinosaur. A dinosaur? Who is it? Oh, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, no.
I thought I saw this orangutan.
Well, Billy.
She escaped from the zoo, so they got to get a tranquilizer gun.
Oh, man.
Ouch! Ouch! Y'all better stop.
I think we've added a character for Billy to portray here. Well, Billy, obviously you're such a legend in the industry here. I would just like to know right off the bat, superhero origin story here. How do you come from born human male to legend of acting and voice acting here?
God, that's a tough question because you gotta spit out expositions. You know, I was a freak basically when I was a kid, but there was a reason for that. I used to run around Touretting out noises and voices and trying to play a piano and somebody would close the lid. You know, can you not? Can you stop it? Why my aunt told me that I was a weird kid. She said, we didn't know, no one knew what to do with you. Because I was like a dervish, you know, but I was nonverbal if I wasn't screwing around. I couldn't express myself at all. I would let people say stuff, or I'd say, I think that was an insult, but why didn't I say something back? You know, I just couldn't get the words. But if I was role playing or in a character, I could gun down anybody. That was the superpower. So you find out later that you're on the autism spectrum, you have ADD, ADHD, and OCD, you name it, FBI. Fat, bald, and ignorant.
Guilty.
Wait, as a kid, that was fat, bald, and ignorant?
No, but I was on, you know, and there were no meds, and nobody knew what to call anything back then.
Yeah.
And my dad thought I was stupid, and he used to go hard on me. I've been writing a book for the past couple of years in quarantine.
Yeah.
I sat and I wrote an autobiography. I wrote 22 chapters. I didn't like set out to do that, but it just came shooting out, so I guess it was time. And I write about how, you know, I couldn't tie my shoe. I had to tie a fake knot that looked real. And some kid busted me. You tie cuckoo. And I said, yeah, I know, but I don't know how to do it. and the same thing with a necktie. I just couldn't, and a belt, when seatbelts came out, I just had the hardest time. But ask me to do a Fran Drescher impression. That's autism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, you have a superpower, but there's no guarantees on what that might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so that obviously led you into the realm of Nickelodeon and stuff with Ren and Stimpy.
Well, it got me playing music. I played in bands for years.
Yeah.
And I was a guitar player and a singer, and I enjoyed it a whole lot. It's just that we never did original stuff. It was all covers. It should have been original stuff, but we wanted to make a living. And I did make a living, but I knew there was something, it didn't ring true to me.
Yeah.
So I got out of that and I tried doing stand-up comedy in '78.
Oh, wow.
Nobody told me you had to have an act. So I used to just go out there and throw shit against the
Just go
wall.
muse. Yeah.
And you know what? Some nights you'd discover something and get on it and chase it down, and other nights you'd go to hell in a twisted metal fireball. Because you can't replicate the audience from one place to another. They might love you, and then you try to pull the same crap on the crowd the next night, and it's like, you're dead.
Yeah. Doesn't matter that. So I think I remember though reading like you were also in radio at some point before getting into the voice.
I worked
acting,
in
right?
radio in Boston,
Yeah.
and I used to do, characters. I used to write material. And the guy that I worked with, we're talking 40-something years ago, and a guy that I worked with, we were always high, We were trying to write comedy, and we were like, we need inspiration. So we'd sit in the back of the radio station on a hot summer day and go, what must it be like to be the guy? Imagine what it would be like to be like the one that everybody looks to in a certain field. And he said, we'll never know. And then one day we grow up and I call him up and I said, I guess one of us knows. His name is Eddie Gordetsky. He's like the biggest producer in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He produced Mom. He worked with, Chuck.
Chuck Lorre.
Chuck Lorre. Yeah, Eddie. My friend Eddie became like, the biggest in Hollywood. So one of us knows what it's like.
Well, I think you did all right on your own there too.
I guess, yeah. I'm not that ashamed in front of him.
No, I mean, come on, everyone. We all love what Billy's done, right? Yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Yes, they are there. Wow. Well, and something that I've discovered in watching some of your old interviews and stuff is your inspiration for your voices. You do draw from a lot of different sources and past actors and stuff like that. Like I remember Ren and Stimpy, you said you modeled off of one of the Three Stooges, Stimpy's voice specifically, right?
Well, I grew up in the 1950s, and they used to show the Three Stooges on TV before I went to school. So I went to school with a head full of that crap. And I hated academia. I hated school. I was on the autism spectrum. Nobody knew those things then, and I could not understand what was going on. So I hated it with a passion. I used to get physically ill when my mom would wake me up. And, everybody just thought that I was being obstinate. But the Three Stooges, I'd go to school and I'd have a head full of that. And what I was doing was I was learning how to act. And I was learning comedic timing and everything. My mom convinced me, or tried to convince me, that it was just totally useless. How can you watch those men, those horrible men? Yeah, but they're funny, Mom. So...
you don't realize how brilliant they are. Like when you're a lot of people try to act like that. It takes a lot of skill to do the timing that they do.
Well, I was fascinated particularly by Larry, who didn't do much. He was the stooge in the middle with the frizzy hair. And the little that he said and did had me just totally fascinated because I love minutia.
Yeah.
That's another part of that, trying to figure out what is it about this guy. He's so nothing, but it's like micro, macro. I don't know how to explain it, but he would say, hey Mo, you put too much tinsel on the tree. And people who do voices go, what is that? I said, it's Larry, but he didn't say a whole lot. You know, everybody could do Mo, and it's like, get out of here. You know, it's like, I'm a winner. You know. Yeah, and so I put the Stooges in everything that I do. Yeah, like, you need an autograph? Why not Zoidberg?
Yeah.
I put those noises in everything. If somebody's sleeping, it could be any cartoon character. It could be like, you know.
Well, can I ask you, I have a hunch about this, but like the voice of Ren, am I getting a little Peter Lorre?
Yes,
a little
a lot
bit
of
in
it.
that? Yeah, okay.
Well, with Stimpy, I was going to tell you about Larry Fine, is like the guy that created the show, John Cristofalusi, heard me doing that impression, and he said, you know, I want to use that for a character, and we had to amp it up. It had to be a higher, it had to be more animated. You couldn't have a character just sound like a depressed old Jewish guy. Mein hernia. Hey Mo, I broke your Pesach dishes. This is the meat, this is the dairy, you idiot. So it became, you know, happy, happy, joy, joy. That's Larry amped up, you know. Yeah.
And then and so Ren is like a more manic version of
Yeah.
Peter Lorre then?
Hey, Ren, I picked a magic nose goblin.
You fool, you idiot. That's the Peter Lorre part. And then there's the Kirk Douglas, the part like, you know, from Crime Story, I think the name of it. Kirk Douglas played a detective.
Yeah.
And he hated criminals. I hate criminals. So that became part of it. And, you know, I can't eat this slut. And
These are all films made before 1970, by the way.
yeah, they're all on, you know, they're all on YouTube. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to look at me like I'm a curator in a museum. For Christ's sakes, they're all on YouTube. They're brand new to people like you. It's like, hey, this is new stuff. I never saw this junk before. There was a movie called Cat on a Hot Tin Roof where a folk singer named Burl Ives, he's the one that sang, oh by gosh, by golly, have a holly jolly Christmas. Well, he played this bastard in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and he was screaming. He says, you wanna lay there like a dog, you're gonna lie and die like a dog. And all of this stuff, all this energy was what John Kay wanted to be put into this character. And so, and then, yeah, there's two phases of Peter Lorre. There was the German expressionistic films like, I'd like a couple of hamburgers and make them raw. Yeah. And then there was the, I saw that eye, that winking and blinking. You know, you. And it's a killer. I remember when I first did it, I called home and I said, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I sounded like Alec Baldwin or something. I can't do it. I'm screaming and yelling, honest to God. And she said, well, then don't do it. Yeah, but I have to do it, you know, because it wasn't even the money. It was like, F this, you know? How can you get beaten by something like that? I refuse. Yeah. So you just overcome it. You find a way to do it. But yeah, that was the composite of the Ren character.
So you're playing both of these characters. I don't know. Like, do you just go one into the next when you're doing a scene? Do you do each individually like that?
We did that particular show. I ran through the script once as Stimpy, and then ran through the script as Ren, and then prison guard. You know, whoever followed. Yeah, and let's see. And then there was a show called Doug.
Yeah, but exactly right. Yeah. Come on.
Woo! On Nickelodeon. I did it in real time. I had to do.
You went back and forth to each voice in real time?
Yeah, in real time.
My God.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't suited for anything else. I told you about my childhood. I really wasn't.
That's a pretty good skill to have.
You wouldn't even want me as a babysitter. It's like, but yeah, I found a new voice. Yeah, but the baby just walked out the front door. Yeah, but I found a new voice.
A new voice, though. He'll be fine.
Not that drastic, but you know, they're 25 years older now, Doug and company.
Yeah.
So I was imagining, you know, dear Journal, today I blew up a courthouse.
Man, Doug got dark.
Whoa.
My jail cell's nice.
Court, you know, the Honorable Judge Roger Klotz.
Oh no!
Order in the court. Guilty. Oh, look who's in my courtroom. Funny, you loser. I knew I was gonna see you in here one day. Oh yeah, funny. You're getting 5,000 years in jail. Oh no.
Yeah, and then the Beats play him off to jail or something like that.
Right, but someday some animator's going to get his hands on a clip of this and animate that scene.
Yep, that's gonna happen.
I hope so. I can only hope.
But I grew up on that early '90s Nickelodeon, so it was. And back then there was only like 4 cartoons. It was like Doug, Rugrats.
But the point being is that they never really grow up like you think they're going to grow up.
Yeah.
It's like all the kids that were beaten on me in high school, they all became cops. Or dead, or in jail.
That's a sobering thought.
and then like some little mastermind, would grow up and use his powers for evil and figure out how to steal catalytic converters and don't do it, don't.
But I think I remember reading, and you said that Doug really was kind of like you when you were younger, right? Like
when I was 11, I did a lot of fantasizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of Patty Mayonnaise, it was a girl named Karen in the 6th grade. And I just used to say her name over and over and sit there. Karen, wow. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about women or a girl or anything. You just like your heart is just wants to be near that energy, I guess. You know. And they always told you that a crush or infatuation is not real, but it sure feels like it when you're going through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody could convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened to all those people, but they were there. They were part of life.
Well, Doug still definitely lives in my heart, and I'm sure the hearts of everyone who watched him growing up right there.
Yeah.
And something, I learned something new about you this week in doing my research, but I had no idea, and maybe you guys don't either, but that you were you still are the voice of the red M&M
Yes.
in all the commercials. Who knew that?
I didn't
in
know
here?
that.
Did people know that? Look at this, there's so many people who didn't know that.
Have you ever eaten me? I was on the Meredith Vieira show, and they brought me out, and they were trying to fool the audience, and I was pretending to be like a truck driver.
Sure.
I said, yeah, I to get money for tolls, sometimes I got to go through my own seats, and and blah blah blah. And then they go, well, he's not a real truck driver. She goes, he's the voice of the red M&M, and I look over, I go, have you ever eaten me? She was mortified. She was mortified. The audience turned on me. For Christ's sakes, a candy? It was like the face of No Brakes. You should have seen her and Juliette Lewis. They were like...
But of course, you do those commercials with a frickin' Oscar winner, J.K. Simmons.
That's right.
How on earth is that?
Well, that was the big joke. Like, I've been working with him for 30 years.
Yeah.
I've known the guy for 30 years, and I knew he was a national treasure when I first worked with him. I said, oh my God, this guy's gonna be like major. And I just knew, you can tell that some people have a light around them. And my wife was a fan of the show Oz, the prison show.
Yeah.
And it was hardcore, and it was on HBO, and the worst guy in the prison was this white supremacist, racist, psycho, you name it, murderer. And I came home one time, this was when I was married, and I came home and she said, have you seen this show? What, this one, Oz? Yeah, look at this guy. Come here, look at this guy right here, this guy. This bastard, he ain't no actor, he's the real thing. He's the real deal. And I went, and she went, what? I said, well, I know him. You do? Yeah, he's the yellow M&M.
What was the reaction? Yeah.
Oh, it was just like shock, dismay. Yeah, and then he became, J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
You name it, yeah. And he's also Farmer's
Insurance, yeah.
You know what? He's a journeyman. 2 days later, after he won an Oscar, he was in the studio working with me.
Yeah.
To me, that he has all my respect. He's not one of these divas, won the Oscar and said, okay, now what?
Yeah.
You know, what's the next job? Yeah.
That's heartwarming to hear because, you know, I still think that is one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie, his performance in Whiplash.
Yes.
Just one of the most terrifying performances, I think, in film history. And you're right, we see him as this, you know, journeyman actor everywhere, and just to know that he's just back in there. And
Then when you watch TV at night, it's like, the Notre Dame Cathedral fire. Seen it? Covered it.
Yeah. This guy was just slapping Miles Teller for an hour and a half. Like.
Yes. Yes, but see, that's the beauty of what he does. He doesn't sit back and go, oh, everybody loves me.
Yeah.
You know, he's not one of those guys.
Just keeps going.
And even when he was being interviewed backstage at the Oscars, they were saying, you know, what's it like? You know, you finally won an Oscar. He says, it's okay, but I get to work with Billy West.
Yeah, of course he did. As we all do.
Yeah, he said that to me.
Well, and I think everybody would be remiss if I didn't ask you about a little show called Futurama.
Yes.
Oh, you've heard of it. Good. This show took on such a life of its own. Of course, the great Matt Groening and all
Yes.
of that. Like, how I heard that you called Fry like your 25-year-old self, like your whiny 25-year-old self. Is that right?
Yeah, because first they had me audition for other characters. I think they already had somebody in mind for Fry, and they said, you want to try these? And they showed me pictures, and I just did what I thought was appropriate. And there was a lot of pressure because you have all these brilliant people got together and developed something. Then they stick a picture in front of you and go, what would you do? Oh, no pressure.
Yeah.
So I thought long and hard before I opened my mouth. You know, because I wanted them to last forever. I didn't want them to be like throwaways.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to be like, not cartoon characters, but people you could actually know.
Sure.
That could sit next to you watching somebody like me on stage, you know. He reeks of phoniness. I can spot a phony. I'm projecting, yeah. No, so anyway, those voices, you know, I started to do those, and then they wanted me to do Fry eventually, and I said, what should I do? I mean, I don't, you know, I wanted to do something that impressionists couldn't copy.
Yeah.
So you can't copy somebody's real voice.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing there to grab onto.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I mean, you know, I sort of sound like Fry just naturally.
Yeah.
But when I was 25, I was in a band, and I was like, oh man, I broke a string. Now what am I gonna do? Shit, an amp blew up. What the you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was whiny, and nasally, and complaining, and I was a project. All the girlfriends I had, you know, would buy guitar strings and beer because I never had any money. You know, it'd be great if you could just buy me a six-pack. You know, I mean, that's what it sounded like. And so I wanted him to be a project because I was a project. For every girl I ever went out with, it was like, why do you gotta dress like this? You look like a fruit peddler. Why not fix your hair? You know, it was a project. And I wanted Fry to have that vibe, especially around Leela, where he was kind of like in need of repair.
Yeah.
Or a woman's touch, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that would round him out, you know, dynamically, even though it wasn't being specified. It just adds another vibe to a character.
Yeah.
Shut up and take my autograph.
That is like you like Fry has become like second life in like meme and GIF culture as well now. Like I think the "Take My Money" meme is like one I use every single day.
How did that happen? If there was no internet, it wouldn't have happened.
No,
But
well, and I do want to compliment you guys because the finale of Futurama is always universally seen as one of the best series finales of all time. Just the amazingly emotional way that they wrapped that up. Just what was that like doing those last few episodes? And did you get that feeling that it was going to be something that impactful on the fans?
it's always different from what I think it's going to be. Like the Jurassic Bark episode, I knew it was going to be sad. I read it, and I performed it, and I said, this is going to be sad, but I didn't know how sad. And when I saw it on TV, I was like...
You've all seen this, right? Like, you've all cried to this episode? Because I have.
I don't have a dog, but I have a cat. I'm hugging the cat. Don't ever go anywhere on me now.
Oh,
That
I'm
episode.
gonna hold you tight. Never going out that door.
That episode broke me.
Yeah, so I didn't know how stupid some things were. Like, somebody said, "Hey, Fry, I heard beer makes you stupid." He goes, "Norm doesn't." and I looked at David Cohen, the director. I said, "David, Norm doesn't." And he goes, "Please read it as written." Okay, all right. I don't care. Come back for the $900 fix-it fee or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know. And then I see it on TV, and I was like, "Ah!" And it was the best acting I ever did because I didn't know what I was saying, and Fry, as the character, didn't know what he was saying either.
Yeah.
So it was so realistic. Beautifully dumb.
Absolutely. Well, I've got one more question. If you guys want to start lining up to ask him any of
Yes,
your
good
questions.
news, everyone.
Yeah.
It's question time.
yeah.
Well, and I'm only going to try to get you to break news one time, but of course, Futurama is coming back. Yes. Yes.
For another
Again.
20 episodes.
Special
Futurama is coming
section
back,
for
everyone.
the third time.
Can you tell us anything about it so far?
It's recorded in a room.
Yes, there you go.
And there's microphones.
Microphones, yes, to capture sound.
And now that we can come back to work, they're less cautious about distance
Yeah, yeah.
because of the pandemic. And let's see, we've recorded about 5 new episodes so far, but I can't
Yes.
Yeah.
big revelations that I'm about to.
No, of course not. We don't want that.
No,
do we,
because I'll get
folks?
clobbered if I say one thing. I'll get beat up in an alley. Matt will be waiting for me.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
With
crowbar.
a blackjack. You never learn, do you?
We're like, there was a delay on the Futurama.
God, you got a big mouth.
No, but what is it like just coming back together after
It's
that time?
thrilling,
you
and
know,
it's like we never left.
Yeah.
You know, there's Johnny DiMaggio, Maurice LaMarche, and Dave Herman, and Tress McNeil. We're not all piled into that room together like you would think.
Yeah.
We used to be.
Yeah.
In a semicircle. You know, so I could see Katie, and I could see John, and, you know, you could work off each other. Katie is a real actor, you know.
Yeah.
She didn't, like, read and stare at the script. When she was talking to Fry, she would look at me.
Oh, wow.
And she'd already have
So she's
absorbed the
memorized it all,
lines.
yeah.
Yeah, she would just look at me like that, and I'd
Oh,
be
wow.
like, I wish I could do that. I'm not that smart.
Well, I think you are.
Well, no, but she's inspirational, and you ought to hear her sing. She invited us one time. Katie had a band, and she said, "You guys want to come and watch my band play?" And I said, "Yeah." And I thought, "Oh, that's cute. She got a little band and everything." And go down there, and she blew us away. She blew me away, and she did an original song, and it made me cry.
Oh, wow.
That's right. I'm all man, but I'm not afraid to admit that.
There you go.
I'm all man. I'm making sperm right where I'm sitting. I might go build a tool shed after this. You know? All
Disassemble
man.
these chairs and build a shed of some kind.
Yeah, don't get the wrong idea. So I cried, and she said, "What did you think?" I said, "Katie, that was beautiful." I said, "You know, no offense, but you remind me of one of my heroes, Laura Nero, who was a songwriter and a singer." And she said she was my idol.
Oh, really?
Yeah, imagine.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, that must have been an amazing compliment to her, you know?
Well, God, yeah. And she was professional all since forever. She was in Bette Midler's band, the Harlettes.
Really? I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Katie history right here.
Well, aside from everything else, too, like your filmography and your work is just so immense. You've also done so many characters that other people started with that you've picked up.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't even imagine the pressure that you must feel on stuff like that. Or do you just go
and stuff?
Yeah, or like
Well,
do you just
God,
go easy?
you know, all the best work was done before we were born. That you
Right.
got to know going in.
Yeah.
And there was no Mel Blanc, except Mel Blanc. He could
Yeah.
act. He wasn't just a collection of witty little voices. He could act on everything, and that's why I really, really put 1,000% into acting with a character. It can't be just recitation of the writer's words.
Right.
And when people said, "Yeah, you're really good acting with those characters. And I said, I really appreciate that because I work hard. It doesn't just come, you know, off the tip of the tongue. I got to think about it and be conscientious. And, you know, gosh, what was I going to say? You were asking me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like the characters you stepped into, Bugs Bunny.
Oh, that, yeah.
Which Jam?
Oh, I got the link with Michael Jordan, too.
Yeah. Did you know he was Bugs Bunny in Space Jam, everyone?
Yep.
Did you know this? Bugs Bunny in Space Jam.
That's
And I heard a very
96.
funny story about how you met Michael Jordan when that was happening,
Oh,
right?
I did, yeah.
Basketball Jones.
He was, there was a party on the Warner Brothers lot, and it was nighttime, and there was a big, huge crowd there, and there's Michael Jordan, bigger than life. He's got a huge crowd of people around him calling his name, Michael. And so his sports agent, Ken Ross, goes, Michael! And he knows that voice, so he turned around. He said, this is Billy West, and he reached over like 6, 7 people and shook my hand.
Oh.
Honest to God, it was so cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, what was it like jumping into Bugs Bunny? I mean, because obviously that is one of the most iconic voices of all time.
It was frightening because every other person that popped in the door said, he sounds too cute. Okay. And then somebody else would go, he sounds too Brooklyn. You gotta cue him up. We'll go, okay. And then, you know, then somebody else would come in and it's like, you know, he's not mean enough. And I was like, shut it. You know.
And there's a final word. Mwah. Goodbye.
Well, you, and do I remember right, did you also do Elmer Fudd in that movie as well?
Yeah, that was a tricky character. It was done by an actor named Arthur Q. Bryan. It was not Mel Blanc. And he was like a 3-year-old, you know? He would put on that lazy R, Wesco, you know, Wabbit, and he would say, you know, shh, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wabbits. You know, like a brain-dead hunter. Nothing funnier. Nothing funnier. And then he would go from 0 to 60. Oh wait, come out of there, or blast you, wabbit. Oh no, I've killed the little bunny rabbit. You know, you get back to being,
All over the place.
yeah, all over the place, and there was so many dynamics going on in there, and it was hysterical.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you also did Shaggy in Scooby-Doo after
Yeah.
Casey Kasem, right?
Oh yeah,
I that voice is just so ingrained in people's brains when they hear it. Like, how on earth? Because I know you wanted to try and put your own spin on it as well, right?
sure, but I knew Kate. I met him, you know. I mean,
Okay.
and I've worked on an episode of Scooby-Doo with him. I played his cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, Shaggy's cousin.
So it was a natural fit there.
Yeah, I guess, but the reason why he wasn't doing Shaggy, this was for Zombie Island. I don't know if you saw that, but I thought that was the best one only because of the soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a killer soundtrack. So anyway, I was like, you know, watching him, and he was a vegan, adamant, militant.
Yeah.
And I'm a vegan too, but I don't care what other people eat. I'm not a you know, fascist. I don't care. You know, enjoy whatever it is you enjoy eating. Please enjoy it. I enjoy watching somebody, but for me, it's not. You know, I've been a vegan for 30-something years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so he was like, you know, come on, Scoob, we gotta get some hot dogs in. Why does it always have to be meat? And he got upset.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, I mean, he should know better than anybody that it's a piece of paper, clear plastic piece of paper, and another one after that, and another one after that, and they film it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not real. But he was like, you know, he wanted to say, well, I'm not gonna promote meat.
Really?
Yeah. So then eventually it just became snacks.
Scooby Snacks. Yeah.
Like, wow, Scoob, we gotta get some snacks. You know, so, yeah, that's why that came about. That's why
That's why there's Scooby Snacks.
I was
in
doing
there.
it. Yeah.
That's
I mean, but there were snacks before I did it. But
Yeah.
but it's a true story. He didn't want to do it because because they ate meat.
Wow.
The way things come into existence.
Hey, he doesn't eat dead animals. You know, I said, you know, he's gonna be one someday.
Oh. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I'm
Jesus.
very sorry. I seem so callous and heartless.
Wow.
Well, you know, something that we were sort of talking about in the back before we came out here was, you know, animation today, it seems like they always want to get big-time movie star actors as opposed to using the voice actors anymore. And I just thought to myself while you were saying that, like, what if there is someone out there, just like you said, what if there is this young lady out there that can do so many different voices, immensely talented, but won't ever get the chance to do that?
Well,
as somebody who's been through this industry, what would you say to someone who wants to do that?
well, first of all, I always say we're saving a seat for you.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I admire artists and artisans and craftspeople. If you're doing voices, don't bring who and what you are to every goddamn character.
Yeah.
You know, because where's the art? Where's the alchemy? There's no change. They used to hire people like us to come in, you know, and these producers would say, listen, we've got this bar of lead on the table, and we wondered if you could just change it into gold before you left. Okay. And no problem. Now the actors come in and walk right by the lead bar and go, where's my $10 million? 'Cause there has to be alchemy. Something has to transform into something else, otherwise it has no magic.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
You know, that's just my opinion, but you know, we were halfway backstage back there, and we're watching the screen from the side, and they're rolling credits to some new stupid cartoon, and I said 3, 2, 1. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, yeah.
3, 2, 1. Ryan Reynolds. 3, 2, 1. The Rock. You know, you can't make. There's an ordinance in LA. You cannot make a movie
Can't make a movie without The
without
Rock.
Kevin Hart.
Or Kevin Hart, yeah.
You can't make a commercial with. There's an ordinance.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll string you up if you don't use him.
Yeah.
I should just, you know, I'd love to cut off one of his feet and carry it as a lucky charm.
There you go.
Like a rabbit foot, you know.
I think we found the headline for Billy West now.
Yeah, my lucky Kevin Hart.
Kevin
foot.
Hart just standing out there. But that is there
I'm
is a
sorry.
there is a real craft to voice acting that is there, and I think that is something that I hope we don't get lost. Yeah.
I always hope that too, but it doesn't look like it's going to go that way. But don't let that deter you. If there's anybody in this audience that's thinking of wanting to do acting or voice acting, yes, it is acting. It's real acting. It's
Yeah,
not
it is.
the redheaded bastard stepchild of show business. It's not. I know actors. I know voice actors that can piece circles around stage actors.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
And you know, and J.K. doing the yellow M&M. No one would ever know that was him.
No.
You know, so that's my point. There's really, really great people, and you know, they're getting recognition nowadays because of the internet. Like
Yeah.
people, you know, nobody knew me when I first started out, and they're saying, you did what? And I hadn't really done anything, and there was no internet. So you had to meet people one at a time and say, well, here's what I do. But now it's out there, so people do know names. You know the name Robbie Paulson, you know the name Maurice LaMarche, you know Jimmy Cummings, Tom Kenny, all my pals, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think we got an audience question here. So say your name and what you'd like to know.
Yeah, my name's Mert. And,
Hi.
And I was curious, I never thought Ren and Stimpy really got the credit for kind of paving the way for some animation that followed it even up to today. What is your opinion on where Ren and Stimpy stands in the history and its place in animation?
Well, I know there's a pattern there. It's like when something serendipitously hits, it's only because they let the artists do their thing. The oversight was mild compared to what it usually is they want to control every thought, every idea, everything. And they don't let artists be artists for the most part. But when they do, boom, you'll have like a Ren and Stimpy. And then everything after that, there's like this axiom in Hollywood, everybody wants to be the first one to be second to do something. You know what I mean? It's like, It's a place where the crowd of people was chasing after where lightning just struck. Over there, you know, chasing the trends and all that. But yeah, there was a lot of imitations afterwards, and every commercial that I watched had the font, the writing from Ren and Stimpy, the whatever you call it, a font. Is that what it? You know, and so yeah, it was really impactful. I think it did originally got the accolades for being groundbreaking. I remember reading a lot of good stuff about it.
Definitely. Thank you for that question.
Thanks for the question, though.
Over here.
Hi.
Hi. First off, giant fan.
Thank you.
Super happy to see you today. So, what I was thinking about, you talked about the Futurama Revival a little bit.
Yes.
Now, I think you might remember about a week after, there was a huge controversy started known as Bendergate, in which people found out that John DiMaggio wouldn't be returning to play Bender, or as it was originally called. It was eventually vetoed, and he is confirmed to be returning. Did you hear about that initially, and were you like, my God, what are you doing?
About re-signing and all that?
Yeah, were you like...
Well, people asked me about it, and I said, I knew he was going to come back. He was just looking for the right pen.
That's the answer.
That's the answer. I don't know what goes on in that world. I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over here.
Appreciate it.
I'm Cassie, and I was just wondering if a fan's voice or personality ever helped you make a new character voice.
Wow, that's a good question.
Sometimes the unspoken voices, like somebody's reply on the internet, will inspire me to act or come up with a sound. I'm really weird like that. I made a joke, and you can't, apparently, that's another ordinance.
Yeah.
You can't make jokes anymore. If somebody hunt you down. You know, and I swear there's apps like on certain people's computers, so if the word retard comes up, or deaf, or blind, you know, it buzzes, and they go right to where it was said. And they're 20, and they have no life experience, and they want to scold you. You know, I'm sorry, but so I make this joke about Rush Limbaugh, who was vile. He made fun of everybody. He was merciless. And then and I said, a lot of people don't know that he invented high-def radio. He was both high and deaf. So all of a sudden, BLM, this social justice, and I used to like you, and now I don't like you because you make fun of deaf people. And I said, I wasn't making fun of deaf, I was making fun of Rush Limbaugh. She would not hear of it, not hear. I don't even know why I'm explaining myself to somebody with no life experience. It's just, they're just reactionaries, you know, and it's so easy to just, you know, be in some corner somewhere and point your finger and accuse somebody of something, and then watching Glee as they try to explain that that's not how it is. But that person doesn't have to answer to anything, no accountability. But that's okay, you know, I was young and I used to get in everybody's face. But the thing about it is that voice, that response triggered my imagination of what that person must be saying in their head, you know. And then I knew how it was going to end, how these conversations usually end. I'm trying to understand why they don't get it, and it's like, I can't convince you. And then some guy chimes in, and he insults her, and I said, 3, 2, 1, here comes the profanity. Just her profanity-laced, and then took off, you know. So, but that's that, you know, there's no greater fascist than the newly empowered. Does that make any sense?
Yes. All right, I think we got time for one
fascist,
more.
you know, it's like, you don't have the right to say that, but I have the right to say what I want to say to you.
Yeah. I think we have time for one more question.
No, why? Are you in that much of a hurry?
I don't know, man.
Are you that busy?
Please.
Oh, I'm ending it off? Okay.
Hi.
Hi. So, I guess my question would be, well, out of all the voice acting that you've done, what is your absolute favorite moment of like what you've done?
Favorite moment?
That's a good one.
It's a tough one, though. You know what? I liked, if you ask me, like some of my favorite episodes of Futurama, one of them is the Devil's Hands episode. And I liked it more than most of them only because Ken Keeler wrote an operetta and we were singing.
Yeah.
And Fry was singing and I thought, he sounds heartfelt. I try to make him sound heartfelt and not clownish or goofy, where you could make fun of it. He said, he's really hurt, you know, destiny cheating him, and it was very Shakespearean or Greek tragedy. And I think that was a high point for me, learning one of Ken Keeler's melodies. That's a tough thing to do. And then, of course, Katie comes in and mops the floor with the song. Good.
Absolutely. All right, well, folks, we've got
Thank
another
you very
picture to
much.
get today. Let's give it up one more time. Billy West, everyone! Billy, of course, has his booth out in Celebrity Alley. Go and visit him there, everyone. Thank you very much.